This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the Otago Regional Council says the opening of Dunedin's bus hub has been delayed again. Most of an Invercargill man's huge shoe collection is about to be on display in the south. And New Zealand Breakers basketball team are looking forward to playing in Invercargill tonight. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Holly Buchanan. The Otago Regional Council says the opening of Dunedin's bus hub has been delayed again, so nearby retailers can enjoy a longer Christmas shopping period. Businesses on the street have mixed opinions on the break in work, but are united in their frustration at the council. Construction is scheduled to finish at the end of February, and the hub in Great King Street will be operational in early March instead of January. The original planned opening date was last May. Businesses on the street have been hit hard by the construction. Smith's Sports Shoes co-owner Greg Lapwood says he's frustrated by the council's delays. Look Sharp store manager Minimal Sudesh says she doesn't trust the council, while Refined Rig owner Sundeen says businesses aren't very happy with the delays. She says the council had already decided what they were doing and says she's experienced a 30% drop in business. Met Service has issued a severe weather watch for heavy rain in Dunedin and other parts of the south today. The weather watch was issued this morning, and Met Service says rainfall could reach alert levels until the early hours of the morning in the Dunedin and Clutha districts. Today's bad weather is the start of a bad run for the south, with thunderstorms possible tomorrow, heavy rain on Sunday and snow to as low as 400 metres on Monday and Tuesday. Lovers of Jimmy's Pies products will have to head to Roxburgh for some of their favourite treats, as the company has streamlined its bulk sale items. It stopped selling a number of products outside its Roxburgh bakery, with only two of its most popular products, mince and cheese pies, available elsewhere. The move comes after the Ministry for Primary Industries issued a product recall of specific batches of Jimmy's Pies last month due to the presence of an undeclared ingredient, MSG. The company then found MSG had inadvertently been included in a supplied ingredient used in its product. Every pair of shoes in Kevin Downey's extensive collection is laced with memories from his past. Now, the Invercargill footwear fanatic is sharing those memories by showing just a fraction of his huge collection in an exhibition opening today.
Kevin Downey owns enough pair of shoes to make even Imelda Marcos blush. More than 100 pairs from his collection are set to go on display at his sold-out exhibition, just a fraction of what he claims is without doubt the largest shoe collection in the country.
A lot of them are done by special designers or artists, and they're very limited editions, only made in limited numbers, ones that are only 200-300 pairs. Downey
fell in love with shoes as a teenager living in Dundee in Scotland when he realised they were what helped people stand out in the crowd.
When I was growing up in mid-teens and at school, a lot of guys around me, girls around me, all started to wear brands and labels, and it made them identify something different from themselves, and it made them stand out. This is something that never left me.
He says with about 25 years in the fashion industry, it was natural for him to collect a few things over the years. He estimates he now has around 700 pairs of shoes, each with a distinct year, country, city or shoe company headquarters from around the world.
And other people collect fridge magnets, other people collect all sorts of things. I use shoes as my memories of visiting these countries and cities.
And he says it hasn't been easy picking out a limited number of pairs to put on display.
It's been a very difficult choice, actually, selecting down what we can show and what we can't. But hopefully there's enough here that people are going to have a memory to themselves to relate to.
The sold-out exhibition opens on Friday at Classic Motorcycle Mecca in Invercargill, the South Today.
New Zealand Breakers coach Kevin Braswell thinks his past experience in Southland will give his team an advantage ahead of the first ever Australian National Basketball League game in Invercargill tonight. Braswell, who played for the Southland Sharks for 5 seasons and had his singlet number retired, says the experience of playing at ILT Stadium Southland will give the Breakers an edge. The Breakers arrived in Invercargill yesterday in a buoyant mood following back-to-back victories. They're sitting in 4th place, and Braswell says the game against 2nd placed Melbourne is an important one for their season. The team also held a training session yesterday, putting budding young local basketballers through their paces. Close to 1,800 tickets have been sold ahead of tonight's game, and a large walk-up crowd is expected. It'll be the first of 4 Breakers home games to be played outside their Auckland base this season, with others scheduled for Wellington, Hamilton and Christchurch. Still to come on The South Today, we talk global politics with international relations expert Professor Robert Patman.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
It's always really satisfying when a customer comes back after doing a purchase of outdoor furniture and knowing that we've got it done right.
Risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life. Petrol prices getting you down? Keep the smile on your dial with an e-bike grin from Electrify NZ on Cumberland Street. For an average $2,000 savings per year, why wouldn't you? Book a test ride today.
It's that time of year. It's time to get into the garden, and it's time to get your weed eater down here at the Power Garden Department at Andersons Bay Road. This year it's all about the cordless weed eater. Come down and see us at Mighty 10 Mega and we'll help you get it done right.
At Green Island Medical Centre, we are committed in caring for our future and present generations. We know as a young person, coming to the doctors can be quite daunting. Our highly skilled doctors and nurses will make your experience one where you will leave with a smile. Your health is very important to us.
Spring is here and it's time to get in the garden. Ready Lawn will take care of your lawn needs, making Lawn Care a snap. They will install the perfect lawn while you plant your favourite flowers and vegetables. Call Ready Lawn today so you can enjoy the coming season.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Get on down to Alex Campbell Menswear for the November shirt sale. That's buy one shirt, get one free. You heard right. Buy one shirt, get one free to the same or lesser value. That's the November shirt sale only on at
Alex Campbell Menswear. It fits.
Welcome back. A new mobile app is showing visitors to Littleton a host of local stories. The project's coordinator arranged for school children to interview people to give a new spin on the town's history and caught up with CTV's Gordon Finlater.
Stories of the past have been given a new lease on life in Littleton. Our Stories project, an app created by local resident Chris Herbert, gives users the chance to visit landmarks in the area where they will be greeted by audio stories from people who grew up in Littleton. With 13 stories mapped to 13 different locations, the quirky part of this app is that the interviewers for the stories are all pupils from Littleton Primary School.
I think it's less intimidating for interviewers to come and tell their stories to kids. Also, they tell them in a way, just the way that people articulate their stories when they're speaking to kids makes them really clear, and so the results of those interviews have been fantastic.
The stories vary from memories of the former Harbour Light cinema through to a creepy mystery.
The kids are really fascinated. They've taken a real shine to some of the particular stories, like the Goat Man mystery.
Yes, you heard correct.
It's a legend that comes from as far back as the early 1960s and goes right through to the 1990s. And there are lots of different versions of this story, but the crux of it is that there was a man with a goat on a stick, or a goat for a head, and he used to sort of haunt the cemetery up on Canterbury Street. They were scared to go out at night, and some people think that it was a made-up story that was designed to keep kids home at night. And other people believe that there was a mentally ill man who may have just been misunderstood. So we haven't got to the bottom of that one yet, but the kids are really keen to keep going.
A favourite question of the school pupils is to ask interviewees what the naughtiest thing they did was growing up at school.
So they had been watching a television show about a prison escape, and they decided that they were going to escape from the school. So they took turns going underneath the floorboards through a hatch and digging to try and escape. Parents started complaining that the kids were coming home dirty, and so the principal started watching them a bit closer, and he found out what they were up to. The funniest part of that is that they were actually digging from Littleton Main School to the police station.
How the app works is simple. Venture around Littleton. When you arrive at a destination, you'll be met with a story.
Okay, so we're on the bridge on the way to the ferry terminal, which is where we can listen to the audio for the story called The Day the Crane Fell Over.
One day they were bringing a ship into Littleton, and they brought the ship in too close to the wharf, and the front of the ship actually was up over the wharf and hit the front leg of one of the big cranes and knocked the crane over.
I think you can feel it in a way that you can't when you just hear the story, or when you read it, or when these things don't all come together. So it's that sort of perfect storm and the magic that happens in the time of that story and place coming together that really gets me excited.
And Herbert believes Littleton could just be the catalyst for the Our Stories project.
I actually would love to take this project to any community in the world. I think that every single community, every single person has stories that are worth hearing, worth telling.
Those looking for an interactive adventure are encouraged to download the Our Stories project app on the Apple Store and Google Play, but be wary of the Goat Man.
International Relations Specialist Professor Robert Patman is warning the migrant caravan travelling through Mexico is producing significant tension in the United States. Thousands of people fleeing violence and poverty in Central American nations are moving en masse in search of a better life in the US. In the first episode of the ODT's new fortnightly International Affairs programme, Global Insight, Professor Patman spells out those tensions.
We're seeing extraordinary scenes in South America at the moment, with the so-called migrant caravans of several thousands of people who have moved up from Central America, have reached Mexico City and beyond, and say that they're not going to stop until they're across the US border. Robert, what's going on?
Good afternoon, Bruce. Well, what's happened is that we have about 5,000 people who've left Honduras. Originally it was a party of about 1,000 people, and it's gathered this caravan, this group of people who are seeking a better life, have moved progressively through Guatemala into Mexico, with apparently the destination being the United States.
So what's really driving this?
I think it's the conditions of the living conditions in places like Guatemala, Honduras. Many of these people who've joined the caravan are seeking to flee violence and poor economic prospects. Many of them are very poor people indeed, and they are literally on the move in seek of a better life. And with modern communications being what they are, even poor people who have probably less access to communications than others still can find out that there is a better life elsewhere.
It's reminiscent of the North African and Middle Eastern refugee crisis of a couple of years ago. But are these two incidents related in any way?
I think there are certain overlaps between the two crises in both situations. If you take, for example, the Syrian crisis in the Middle East, and you take the crisis that's now developing in Central America in terms of the outflow of refugees, in both cases there are conflicts and, if you like, living conditions which many people find extremely challenging. There's a lot of drug-related gang violence in Central America, Honduras being one of the worst places. And in many respects, people are seeking to escape these appalling living conditions, both in the Syrian civil war and also in Honduras. And also, let's be quite frank, there's another similarity. Much of the world is looking on. And so people are taking their life into their own hands, so to speak, and deciding to move.
US President Donald Trump has banned CNN journalist Jim Acosta from the White House because he criticised the president for calling the caravan an invasion. How significant is that?
I think it's fairly significant. I think the president was incensed by Jim Acosta's challenging of the term invasion. Mr. Acosta pointed out that the so-called invasion was a caravan of poor people, whereas Mr. Trump described them as largely criminals. He also pointed out it was about 500 miles away or more from the United States at that point, at the time of the press conference in the White House. The other thing here is we have to take into account is that the president has both described CNN as fake news and also an enemy of the people. And I think he was particularly sensitive to the nature of the questions that Mr. Acosta was making, because Mr. Acosta was actually challenging the president's grasp of the situation and by implication his description of the organisation of CNN that he works for. So this is and we know now that he's had his press credentials withdrawn, which has led to CNN suing the White House and some of Mr. Trump and some of his key aides.
The US president has called in 5,000 troops, 5,000 soldiers to guard the border. How do you think this is likely to play out?
Very difficult to predict, clearly, but the Pentagon has indicated that this whole exercise could cost more than $200 million, which could make it domestically unpopular. The Pentagon have also said, somewhat undiplomatically, that they do not consider this to be a major security challenge to the United States. They also said that the caravan still would not reach the United States for another month to 6 weeks. And James Mattis said that his department, the Department of Defense, will not be party to what he called any stunt. So there seems to be a bit of tension between the Pentagon, while they have deployed the troops. Many of them had to miss Thanksgiving to be on the US-Mexican border. There seems to be a little bit of tension between Mr. Trump's political emphasis on being resilient. Remember, this was a key campaign pledge of the Trump administration. They were going to be robust in turning back would-be illegal immigrants. And at the same time, the US Department of Defense seems to be somewhat downplaying any potential security threat from these refugees. Remember, the United States is built on immigration and has always in the past played a key role in resettling people. And so there is a bit of a departure from the past going on here under Mr. Trump's leadership.
Well, thank you, Robert. It's
Thank
been
you,
excellent.
Bruce. Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Catch you next time on Global Insight. Hasta luego.
After the break on the South Today, get set for some wild weather. We have more details.
Active interior designer Mornington are the curtain and blind experts. The team can even advise you on outdoor products and will ensure that everything is perfect. For interior design with flair, call Active to book your free in-home consultation or call into the showroom in Mornington.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garador keeps his favourite ride in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
I just like it. It's something that you can see the fruits of your own labour. You put it right now, you don't have as much to do at Christmas. You come see me, Derek, in the garden department, and then we get it done right.
Get on down to Alex Campbell Menswear for the November shirt sale. That's buy one shirt, get one free. You heard right. Buy one shirt, get one free to the same or lesser value. That's the November shirt sale only on at
Alex Campbell Menswear. It fits.
Petrol prices getting you down? Keep the smile on your dial with an e-bike grin from Electrify NZ on Cumberland Street. For an average $2,000 savings per year, why wouldn't you? Book a test ride today.
Hello, it's Jeremy down here at Mighty 10 Mega in Andersons Bay. We've got 35 different lawnmowers down in our power garden department. We've got ride-on mowers, petrol mowers, battery operated mowers, push mowers. Did you know we've even got a robot, a little robot lawnmower that pops out during the day when you're at work or play. It'll pop out and mow your lawn. So come down and see me, Jeremy, down in the power garden department at Mighty 10 Mega in Andersons Bay Road, where we'll help you get it done right first time.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
At Green Island Medical Centre, we are committed in caring for our future and present generations. We know as a young person, coming to the doctors can be quite daunting. Our highly skilled doctors and nurses will make your experience one where you will leave with a smile. Your health is very important to us.
Welcome back, and now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The Otago Regional Council says the opening of Dunedin's bus hub has been delayed again, so nearby retailers can enjoy a longer Christmas shopping period. Every pair of shoes in Kevin Darney's extensive collection is laced with memories from his past, and he's exhibiting 100 or so pairs. And the New Zealand Breakers are at Stadium Southland in Invercargill this evening for an Australian National Basketball League game in Invercargill tonight. And now we'll look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Barry.
Hello, Holly. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
A Dunedin cleaner, a court story, found guilty of beating his boss with a hammer to death once his convictions quashed.
Oh, okay.
So details of that in the paper tomorrow. Interesting story from South Dunedin Care Home. It's to build a ditch around and a 2-metre concrete block wall around its establishment with floodgates to stop potential flooding. So
it's a novel approach.
Innovative thinking there. We have a story of an Invercargill family's son who was a miracle baby twice over, conceived after years of IVF before being born prematurely. So we have that story. Dunedin man gets the police commander commendation for trying to save a woman's life in 2015. And what is the top Christmas toy list this year?
Okay.
What toys are on the list?
Yes,
so
yeah.
That's good advice for those that are in that market.
Watch the space, that's right.
Cromwell GP speaks out about after hours healthcare in Central Otago. And of course the best Masters athletes from the South Island have converged on Invercargill this weekend for the 38th South Island Masters Track and Field Championships. So
fantastic.
Look out for that. And we have the country's agriculture sector has been advised to look for alternative trading partners or markets as the developing Cold War between the United States and China worsens. And we have lots of sport, of course, the All Black preview, playing Ireland, that's a big game. And of course the Weekend Mix magazine, lots of good reading in that.
Plenty in tomorrow's paper.
Yep,
Thank
indeed.
you very much, Barry. And time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Starting with today's southern view, taken of workers braving the rain at Dunedin's new bus hub. Looking at the situation, not very flash at all. Very cold air arrives over southern districts later this weekend, bringing snow to the hills on Sunday night with a risk of heavy rain elsewhere. Winds will be strong too, with gales possible along the coasts. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect rain and a high of 17 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson has showers and 21 degrees. Blenheim, you're due for a cloudy one with 23 degrees predicted. And to Canterbury, a cloudy day for Kaikoura. Expect showers and a top of about 18 degrees. Ashburton and Christchurch plan for 17 and some spots of rain. Looking at the southern towns, Catlins, Balclutha, Gore and Lumsden, light easterlies, some clouds and chasing a high of 13 degrees for all of you. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes area, expect light winds, some cloud in Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra and Tiano, highs of just 13 to 14 degrees. Looking at the northern towns, Timaru and Oamaru, light winds and 13 degrees, while Twizel and Omarama are both looking at a bit of a cloudy day with light winds and 12 degrees. And in Dunedin, rain clearing overnight with an overnight low of 10 degrees. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, but fortunately a few sunny periods developing during the afternoon. Cool with moderate nor'east winds. Rain developing later tomorrow evening with a high of 13 degrees. Cloudy on Sunday with light rain and strong gusty sou'westers. Colder tomorrow night with some snow possible on the hilltops, looking at a high of 11, a low of 3. And in Invercargill, showers tonight with southerlies dying out with an overnight low of 9. Showers clearing and sunny periods increasing during the morning tomorrow with light winds and cool temperatures, a high of 13. Periods of rain developing Sunday with fresh to strong gusty sou'westers, sleety showers developing late in the day, looking at a high of 9 degrees and a chilly low of just 2. And that wraps up our news for this Friday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online and follow us at odt.co.nz and channel39.co.nz, as well as on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a restful weekend and we'll be back again on Monday. Good night.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.